You're listening to the Life with Old Dogs podcast, and I'm your host, Dawn Mimnaugh, primary caretaker of all of our wonderful senior German Shepherds right here at Woody's Place Senior German Shepherd Sanctuary. Hey there, and welcome back. All right, so this season we have been talking about why it's important for you to take care of yourself, period. Taking care of yourself is a good thing, but especially while you're caring for your older German Shepherd or your older dog in general, especially larger older dogs who many succumb to mobility issues as they age, and they need a lot more hands-on assistance in making it through the day. You got to be in good shape to do that, right? You need a strong back, strong shoulders, strong neck, all that stuff. So we've discussed that. We've discussed physical fitness, diet, mental well-being, and how all of that is, one giant piece of a pie, so to speak, where if one's off, the other two are probably going to be off as well. So one thing that I forgot to add, and this is a big one for me, is getting enough sleep. It's hard. Sometimes it's just hard, when you're stressed or you got so much going on in your life, or you're on certain medications or whatever, and it disturbs your sleep cycle. And so, maybe you're going to bed too late. Maybe it messes up your circadian rhythm, and you're going to bed too late, waking up late, your whole day's thrown off, or you're just not getting enough sleep. So, that's important to get enough sleep. That all ties in as well. And I just want to mention now, I have little Miss Nona over here on her bed, and she has her squeaky, so you may hear her throughout this podcast episode. Anyway, today we are switching gears, and we are talking about caring for our senior German Shepherds. When I say senior, that's interchangeable with older German Shepherds, because I've heard people ask me, what is the senior German Shepherd? It's an older German Shepherd. That's it. All right. Excuse me. So, there are several aspects to this topic as well. Of course, it's similar to us. You have to focus on their physical well-being, their mental well-being, and their diet, right? There's very similar to us. So, the first topic I want to discuss today it has to do with all of that, but it's a little bit different. And it's so obvious, but often overlooked. And that's grooming. All right. So today we're going to talk about grooming our older German Shepherds and why it's important to their overall well-being. Let's start with this. How do you feel after you get out of the shower or a bath? You probably feel good, right? You're fresh, you're relaxed, you feel like a new person. Or maybe you're so darn busy, you've gone like a couple of days and you haven't had a chance to get a shower or a bath, and you start to feel kind of grimy and grungy, and just like, you're carrying around 2 days worth of dirt on you, and it's not a good feeling. And then you get in that shower, and again, you get refreshed, right? You get clean and you get refreshed. And because it's nice, warm water, you're relaxed as well. It's no different for our older German Shepherds. They don't want to walk around with days worth of funk on them, or months or years for that matter. They don't want to walk around with grime in their coat. They want to feel clean as well, and it makes them feel good too. Did you ever have the opportunity to give a dog a bath, and then they no sooner get out of that bath and they've got the zoomies? They're running around all over the place. They're rolling around with their backs on the ground, or outside sometimes, right back in the dirt. It's because they feel great. It makes them feel good. Getting in, they might not feel the same way. Getting in might, they might be uncomfortable with getting in the shower. It might scare them. Some of them are downright terrified of it, just uncomfortable. But once they get in and once they get clean, most of them, a large majority of them feel fantastic, and they get all squirrely after that. So they want to be clean. Now, how often do you clean your older German Shepherd? Bathe. That depends. It depends on the dog. It depends on what they're doing, what their lifestyle is like. If you have, we have Savvy and Nona right here. And again, they're beside me here. They're very active. These two are out every single time I'm outside, which is quite a bit because, again, we have farm animals I take care of. So these two are out all the time. They're in the woods. They're over in the goat and chicken field. They're just out here, on the sanctuary grounds. They're out. These two are not the type of older German Shepherd that just came here because they wanted a bed to rest on. I mean, we have that, don't get me wrong, but it's not these two. So dogs, older German Shepherds like Savvy and Nona, are going to require a bath more often than, say, Brandy, who is, she's at the end of her life now, and she truly is just looking for a bed to lay on. And she may get up off that bed and kind of meander on out the back door to go to the bathroom. She doesn't ever really go 20 feet away from the house. Although the last couple of days she's taken walks with us in the woods, so that's weird. But my point is, she's not as active. She's not outside in the elements as much. She's pretty much here inside the sanctuary. So dogs like Brandy can go once every 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even 8. Push it to 8 every 2 months, depending on how their coat feels. And with some brushing in between and some dry clean. That's just a product that's kind of like you can either spray it on and it has essential oils in it, or kind of like a dry shampoo, that's like powdery and you just kind of work it in and then brush it through and whatnot. Not so for Savvy and Nona. Savvy and Nona get a bath every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how their coat feels. So that's what I go by. I go by how does their coat feel? They get brushed a lot in between, and I'm going to talk about that here. They get brushed daily, the residents here of Woody's place. But so, I'm distributing the oils and getting the loose dirt off of them and stuff like that. But you can feel their coat. If it's feeling kind of greasy or just kind of funky, a little sticky, thick, it's not smooth and soft, it's time for a bath. They need a bath, and they need to get the excess oils and dirt cleaned off of them. So depending on the dog, and you should know your dog. You should know what your dog's coat feels like when it's clean, and then how it feels when it's dirty. And that's it. That's cue right there. Time for a bath. And that helps them feel better about the whole overall picture. They start to feel better once they're clean, once they're dried off, once they're clean, they feel better. If you have an older German Shepherd with mobility issues, it's hard. I know it's hard, especially when they have degenerative myelopathy and, maybe they're falling in their poop and stuff like that. It's really hard to find a facility to go and clean your dog that doesn't have steps to get up to that bathtub. I'm going to come up with something. I'm telling you folks, I just cannot for the life of me figure out why every dog grooming area out, in the general public or whatever that you can pay to use is elevated, because we have these bigger dogs that cannot do that. So and I'm hoping it happens by the end of the year, we use our shower here. It's just literally a walk-in, and if they can't walk in, we help them get in. The only problem with the shower that we have here is it's an odd shape. It's like a corner shower, so it's just an odd shape. So we are going to be building a cleaning station downstairs in our basement, where it's literally going to be a shower basin, and then it's going to have 3 walls around it, maybe they come up about 4 foot high, and a handheld shower, whatever you want to call it. head that we will actually have to bend down. I do it anyway, get on my knees and, clean the dog. But this way, it's easy in, easy out for them. And at the end of the day, this thing, it's wide. So if we have a dog, even that's in a wheelchair, we could actually wheel him in and, he can get clean while he's in his wheelchair. And then the wheelchair, we would take him out, obviously, and he would have to dry and the wheelchair would have to dry. So it's important to find a way to clean your dog with mobility issues that is easy for you and safe for him, and nothing elevated. You can't do anything elevated. If you have help, you can lift him up. Like if you want to do it at your house, lift him up in the tub. You can get someone, on his front end, like up by his head, somebody by his back end, and both put him in there. Make sure you have like a non-slip mat in the tub so he's not slipping and sliding all over the place, hurting himself and whatnot. That's another way to do it, but it's still very important, even when they have mobility issues like that they get clean. Now, the further along you go with those mobility issues, there are products, like I said, like a dry shampoo. There are baby wipes. There are actually dog grooming wipes that like are hypoallergenic, and some contain aloe and others contain lavender. Some are just, unscented, and you can just pretty much wipe them off. But that's really just getting like the surface of their coat. But it still helps them feel better, right? It still makes them feel better, but it's not the same as actually putting them in a tub or a walk-in shower and really cleaning them thoroughly. As far as shampoos go, we try to use natural products without harsh chemicals or anything like that. We do have a list. It's our Amazon associate something or another page. I don't even know what it is, but I'll make sure that the link is included in the show notes along with a blog post we did a while ago about grooming. And basically this list, it's not for you to buy something and send here to the sanctuary. It's products we use and like. And we put together this list to share with you, to say, hey, if you have a dog who's just yeasty all the time and his skin is black, here's a great shampoo that works for that to keep it in check. So that's what this list is about. I can't even remember. It's Amazon Associates or Amazon Preferred something or another. I really don't know, but I'll make sure it's included and you can check out the shampoos we use. All right. So grooming, it's important. I would not go any longer than 2 months without grooming a dog, regardless of their mobility issues. Now, when I say grooming, if, again, you cannot, for whatever the reason, get them in the tub and get them wet and shampoo them, get those grooming wipes and use them, or get, like I said, dry shampoo and use that, all right? But no longer than 2 months. That's a little too long even. We're not talking about cutting hair because we're talking about German Shepherds here. They don't need, their haircut, obviously, because they're German Shedders. And that's the next thing. So brushing. Brushing is really important, not just to keep their coat looking good, their skin healthy, but also to help them feel better as well. So you have German Shepherds, there's a couple of different coats that German Shepherds have, like Savvy here and Brandy have very thick, very lush coats. They're very furry, and they have a double, the undercoat, which, is like white and fluffy. And then Nona's sort of that way, sort of not. And then you have German Shepherds like Atticus and Brutus, who's really like a Doberman, but he's got German Shepherd in him too. And their coat is more like hair. It's not, they don't have like that thick undercoat. It's more like hair. It's a lot thinner. It's a lot shinier. So you want to brush them. I brush them every day. I mean, I have brushes. I have Furminators. I have rakes. I have combs. I have stuff around the sanctuary here to brush the dog's coats, like people have Yankee candles sitting out. Like they're just randomly about, because typically, wherever I am, I need one within distance so I could at least, brush savvy. Get her right side because she's laying on her left side. So I can brush her right side real good and get her underbelly real good. And then the next time she gets up, I'll get her left side real good. So, so I do that pretty much every day. I'm constantly running a brush of some sort through the dogs. Now, brushes are another thing. You know, you have an assortment of brushes and some of them do different things. Like the Furminator, really gets that undercoat out real well. So does a rake, a hand rake. It's a dog grooming tool. It's not a rake to rake your leaves or anything like that. And that gets the undercoat out real well. I have that. I don't love it. If I'm trying to get really get that undercoat out well, I'll use a Furminator instead because that does a trick. And I know there are people who don't love Furminators, and you know what, to each his own, but it works really well for us. I've heard stories about, oh, well, it pulls their undercoat out and never grows back again. Bull crap. Their coats still are there, and that's never been an issue for us since we've been using the Furminator. Then you have like the boar bristle brushes, and that's really to like finish the coat. It's just to kind of distribute the oils, make it look slick and shiny. And the boar bristle brushes I use on Atticus and Brutus because, again, their coats they're thin. They're not thick. I would never use a Furminator on them. It would actually hurt them to use a Furminator on them. So I use the softer bristle brushes for Brutus and Atticus to get any loose hairs off and to distribute the oils on their skin. So yeah, bunch of different brushes out there and grooming products like that. You really have to know your dog's coat and what it is that you're trying to do. Are you trying to really get all that excess hair out? Or are you just trying to distribute oils, and then choose from there? FYI, getting back to the giving a bath, we have a dog dryer. Not like we don't stick a dog in a dryer, but we have a dog dryer that it's almost like a shop vac, but it's like a jet. Oh my gosh, it's really powerful, and it blows warm air. And I use that to dry the dogs, really, get them good and dry them off so their bellies aren't wet, and now they're laying on them on their bed, and it's wet, and I don't want them to be uncomfortable. But that product, I forget what it's called, but I'll go check it out and see what it's called, and then I'll put a link in the show notes in case you're interested in getting one. You can get them on Amazon. That thing I love to use that thing. I'll take Savvy outside and I'll use that just to blow her undercoat out. I mean, there's just like fur flying everywhere. So to me, I brush because I love to brush the dogs and I know it makes them feel good. But if I really am pressed for time and okay, her coat is she's really blowing her coat out, I'll go get the dog dryer and I'll literally just blow her undercoat out outside somewhere. And she feels better. I feel better because I'm not having to vacuum all the time. And the birds love it because then it's in their nests and they have nice fluffy nests all winter long. So, so yeah, brushing. That's another important aspect to them getting groomed and helping them, feel the best that they can. Ears. So ears have to get cleaned. There's just no two ways about it. Their ears are huge. They're like antennas off their head. You can bet stuff is getting in there. They need to be cleaned. So what I do is I have these dog grooming wipes. And if I'm just going to do a little, clean real quick, I just get the wipes and I just I wipe inside their ear really well. I get in the little crevices, all the little nooks and crannies. And typically there's dirt. There's, some of them have more dirt than others, but, I just make sure that's cleaned out for them and help them feel better. Other times when we're doing like a spa day, that's when they're getting everything done. They're getting groomed, ears, nails, the whole shebang. I have ear cleaning solution that I actually put down in their ears, and then I take like a tissue and get in there really good and clean their ears for them. Now, some German Shepherds need their ears cleaned more than others. Again, getting back to Brandy. I don't know what it is about her. Maybe because she's not doing too much anymore. Her ears are never dirty. I mean, she might have like a couple little pieces of whatever in there, but nothing. Maybe some oil collected and whatnot. I don't know, but she hardly has anything. Atticus, on the other hand, he has, a lot of food allergies and autoimmune issues and stuff like that. So his ears need to be cleaned regularly. It's if, I go a couple of days without cleaning his ears, it's like I hadn't cleaned them in weeks. It really collects fast in his ears. But he also has a lot of skin issues too. So that kind of goes hand in hand. Products that I use. Again, I'm not using anything really with chemicals, heavy chemicals or heavy cleaning agents. I try to do more of an all-natural product with soothing properties like aloe. Again, something along those lines. And the wipes that I have for the ears, they're actually little pads. They almost look like strident, like acne pads. I think they're on that Amazon list. If not, I'll make sure that they're on the Amazon list. And I love them. And they seem to like it too. Nona, when I do her, she actually leans into it. She makes these noises and she's leaning into it. So I know she's loving it. So ears need to be cleaned regularly. And again, it depends on your dog. You do want to do like a light cleaning every so many days. Like I said, with even a tissue, maybe just kind of like wipe around in there. But a thorough cleaning, you want to make sure you're doing every couple of weeks and really just kind of, read the directions on the bottle. But what I do is, I put the cleaning solution in and you can really load it up in there. And then I flip their ear over and I rub it really well. And then I start taking tissues, and don't use anything rough and abrasive. All right. You don't want to use like dollar store paper towels that feel like sandpaper. You need to use something soft. If it's not a tissue, then use a soft, like a cloth from, a rag or something like that used to be a towel, something terry cloth or chenille. All right. You don't want to be getting in there and, using, like I said, dollar store paper towels that just feel awful. You don't want to do that. You can also take Q-tips and really get down in there and clean. Just you don't want to go too far down, and you need to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to, hurt them. So ear cleaning, that's another thing that really helps them feel good. Also, if they get like hairs in there, kind of make sure that they're clean, that they don't have like wax spilled up on them or anything along those lines. So that is bathing, and that is ear cleaning, and that is brushing. Now, I have a list here. I put a list next to me, and I can never I wear glasses, and I can't ever wear my glasses, because the light reflects off of them. So it's hard for me to read my list. Anyway, next is nails. All right. This is another big one for grooming, and it gets overlooked. And I don't want people thinking I'm judgy. I am not a judgy person, but boy, oh boy, sometimes when I'm out at events or Tractor Supply or something like that, and I see a dog come walking in and they've got like daggers for claws, I just think, oh my God, that is so sad for that dog. It's hard to do some dogs' nails. I know firsthand. This is not my first rodeo. I know it is so hard. Believe me. I think sometimes I should have been a bronc rider when I was younger, because sometimes that's what it feels like when I'm trimming nails. Like I am on the back of a bronc and I'm going to get bucked off any second. All right. So Nona is right now by far the worst of the bunch. And I am guilty of letting her nails go a little too long because I know it's going to be such a fiasco getting her nails trimmed. And I do it myself. I don't take them anywhere. Our vet will do it, but most of the time I do it here myself. So my system, I always do it after grooming, getting a bath and stuff like that. I just do the whole shebang, the hair, the nails, the ears, the brushing, the blow drying, all that stuff. For some dogs, Brutus loves getting groomed. He loves it. He'll stand there. He'll hold out his paw practically so I can just clip his nails. He just loves it. He's a dream come true. Nona, I'm hoping I can get that 8-second ride because she's just nuts. She's nuts. So that is with CBD oil. That is with trazodone. And that is with a muzzle on her face because she wants to rip my face off when I start clipping her nails. And here I am. I'm just on my bathroom floor with this nutty, crazy dog bucking around all over the place. Her nails are black, so I can't see the quick, and I'm like struggling to hold on to her paw so I can clip real quick. So, yeah, hers don't get done as often as they should because it's such a fiasco when it happens. So I totally get it. But I don't let her nails go so long that it's changing the position of her foot. All right. Your dog's foot is supposed to just be on the ground, right? Like this. Okay. It is not supposed to be pushed back because the nails are so long that they're pushing the whole paw back. All right. When that happens, then you're looking at orthopedic trouble and mobility issues because it's changing the way the pressure goes on the dog's foot on the ground, and it's changing the position of the leg, which also changes the position of the hips. Okay, so it's bad for orthopedic purposes to have really long nails on your dog, and also their pad, they're like, it starts to splay out. Instead of it being like close like this, it starts to splay out, which, you know, it doesn't, they don't get the same kind of traction on the floor. So then they run the risk of slipping or tripping and getting an injury. So it's really important to keep the nails cut at a reasonable length for that purpose. And also if they're long, look, they can get cracked, they can split, they can get broken, they can get an infection. It can be painful. It's no fun. It's no fun for them to walk around with long nails. We had a dog come to Woody's place years ago. Her name was Misty. Called her Misty May Huvier. She was this little Elkhound German Shepherd mix. She was a hoot. She lived to be 17. She came to us, and her nails were so long. They were curled under like macaroni noodles and then pushing into the pads of her feet. She had to be put under sedation to have those nails fixed for her. I mean, oh my gosh, it was just awful the way this poor dog was trying to walk around on those nails. So got it taken care of for her. You don't want to get to that point, right? You don't want it to get to that point. So what I would recommend is, if you have a dog who's well behaved and it's not a problem, you can either, get the regular, like they look like a little guillotine, or there's another one that sort of slides forward, or there's the grinder, right? You can grind if your dog would do that, would be willing to do that. We have one of those here, and I don't have any dog here that will let us do the grinder. And the grinder kind of takes too long for my liking. So I would rather wrestle him like a bear for a little bit and get the clip done and just get it done and over with. But you do have options. And if you can't do it yourself, take your dog to either a groomer or your vet and have them do it, or have a vet come in, because it has to get done. You can't just ignore it. All right. They have to be a reasonable length, in order for your dog to have optimum health, regardless of the age. All right. So, excuse me, I had to take a drink. So that's the general makeup of grooming, right? You want to make sure they're bathed regularly. You want to make sure they're brushed regularly. You want to make sure their ears are cleaned regularly and their nails are cleaned regularly. And I totally forgot about their teeth. We do brush teeth here. I know not everyone's into that, but we do. We do brush teeth here. We also have a baking soda based product that we'll put in their water that helps keep their teeth clean. We like to give them natural products to chew on, such as antlers or something along those lines that, will scrape the plaque and the tartar off their teeth. If they absolutely come to us with junky teeth or whatever. We've had teeth extracted, teeth cleaned. These things are important, regardless of the age, but especially as they get older and then they become susceptible to gingivitis and other periodontal diseases. There's It's true that, if you have a junked up mouth with bad teeth or whatever, it affects your overall health. And it's the same for our older German Shepherds. So you want to make sure that their teeth are clean, whether you're cleaning them, brushing them. And I shouldn't say I do it every day. I try to do it every day. Some days I don't get around to it, but I always make sure that they have that additive in their water and something like hard to chew on to scrape the plaque and the tartar off their teeth. That can be tough, though, because you also don't want them breaking their teeth. So brushing. No, I know we have these products on that Amazon list that I was talking about. So I like Arm & Hammer toothpaste. It's a baking soda based product. Again, so is the additive for the water. And I like that. I like Arm & Hammer. And you can get beef flavored toothpaste or chicken flavored toothpaste. And so the toothbrush that I have, it's long because obviously, I have to get back into their mouths and stuff like that. And you don't brush their teeth like you're brushing yours because they don't allow it. They have, the dogs have no idea what this is about. And so basically I'm like more or less massaging. I have it in there and I'm massaging. They're like trying to chomp on it because they want the baking soda or they want the beef flavored toothpaste. But that's okay. That's okay. It's helping. So now there are some like Atticus where I can lift his lip and I can literally brush, and he does it. He lets me. I'm holding his lip and I'm just brushing his teeth, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, can you get over here? I think I got something from dinner last night back there." So, and then of course there are others who fight. So Savvy does not like getting her teeth brushed. She's the one that I'll give her more harder things to chew on to keep her teeth clean than brushing. There's also a nylon brush that it fits over your finger and you can put your finger in and just kind of massage like that. That's great if you know your dog and you know your dog is not going to bite you. Now, some of the Woody's Place dogs have been here long enough that I know their personality and I would be willing to do that. I'd have no problem with Brandy. I'd have no problem with Atticus, and I'd have no problem with Brutus. Savvy and Nona, I would never put something on my finger and stick it in their mouth. That's not happening. I'm already down one, so I can't afford to lose another, and that wouldn't happen. So know your dog before you go doing something like that. And when you start to brush their teeth, start slowly. Okay. Put the toothpaste on. I always wet the toothpaste to make it, a little wet or whatever. And just start slowly. If you can only get like in just a little bit the very first time you do it, that's it. Just do a little bit because you're sort of building this relationship, right? You're building this trust. They don't know, hey, here comes mom and she's coming to brush my teeth. They have no idea. They just know you're coming at them with this thing with bristles with some goo on the back. And now she's sticking it in my mouth. What the heck is this? I have no idea. So you have to start slowly and work your way up from there. Now, when they get to the point where they're geriatric, they've got a lot going on. Like you're looking at, hey, I'm probably going to have to say goodbye soon. I don't know if brushing their teeth is the most important thing at that point. So I wouldn't kill myself over it. But I definitely would at the stage that they're at now, the Woody's Place gang. I mean, they're all, with the exception of Brandy, they're all relatively active and everybody's eating, everybody's doing dog things. So yeah, I would definitely keep up on it then. But like I said, as they get older and, most of their days are behind them and you're not sure if you're going to even have another month with them, I wouldn't worry about it then. It's probably the least of their problems. But basically, it does help them feel better and it does keep their teeth fresh and it keeps the bad bacteria out of their mouth. So look into it. All right. That's it. That's all I have for today. All right. So, grooming definitely helps your dog, your older German Shepherd, feel better when he's clean and fresh and his nails are trimmed and he doesn't have a bunch of goo in his ears and his breath isn't kicking because, no one's paid any attention to them for, 15 years or whatever. So it's really common sense stuff. Again, like I said, it's pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how often it gets overlooked. Like it's just not a big deal and it's just a dog and he doesn't care. They care. They just can't tell us that they care. All right. I am going to wake everybody up and we're going to head outside now before it starts to rain. So until next time.